Penguin Random House Audio presents Three Little Truths by Eithne Shortall. Read for you by Alison Mckenna. For Fidelma Curran, who is my mother, and for that, I'll forever be grateful. Blood is thicker than water, but neither's as thick as mortar. Shay Morrissey, long-time Pine Road resident. Pine Road Poker. Bernie. Hi all. Number 6 found a hole in their back garden this morning. That makes 3 in 1 week. I hope we can all take this seriously now. I have spoken to Island Stores and they've ordered in extra rat poison. Remember to say Pine Road discount to get 10% off. Regards, Bernie Waters Riley. Ellen. So well said, Bernie. As always. We've already put down 2 doses. Edie. We'll buy ours ASAP. Thanks for organising, Bernie. Kiss. Ruby. I wonder where the little buggers are coming from. Ellen. From number 8, no doubt. I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but for the lack of attention Mrs. Ryan paid to her garden, she should have been taken out and shot before the pneumonia had a chance to get her. Yes, she was 97. But how much upper body strength do you need to pull a few weeds? I just hope the new people sort it out. Any sign of the woman yet? Ruby. Saw the husband and daughters leaving again this morning. No sign of the wife, though. Carmel. I've got Robin on window watch. Fiona. She's definitely in there, Ellen Hun. I can hear the radio. Kiss, 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 kiss. Rita Ann. Did anyone take the Irish Times from my doorstep this morning? I need yesterday's Sudoku results. The paper of record would appear to have made a mistake. Ruby. Are you asking if we stole your newspaper? Rita Ann. I'm wondering if someone took it by accident. Ruby. Maybe the rats took it. Fiona. Do you think so? Ruby. No. Fiona. Do you think the rats might affect house prices? Ellen. I didn't know Robin was still staying with you, Carmel. Everything okay with her at home? Fiona. We already have poor aspect. I wouldn't like a rodent rumour to depreciate our value any further. Rita Ann. Who cares about a few mice when there's a thief in our midst? If my paper is returned by dinner time, all supplements intact, I'm willing, on this one occasion, to turn a blind eye. Ruby. Rita Ann and the case of the missing broadsheet. Detective emoji. Bernie. Poison, ladies. Do not forget the poison. Chapter 1. Martha Rigby had been sitting at the kitchen table since Robert left for work. The girls, who had taken to their new school with such ease it almost seemed pointed, had set off before either parent was awake. There were boxes everywhere, furniture still stacked in corners, gas and electricity meter readings jotted down on a pad in front of her, waiting to be registered, a to-do list lying unticked beside it. She knew she should stand up, make a start on things. The radio played on and the light through the grubby windows grew incrementally brighter. She looked around the room and felt a profound sense of detachment. The idea of doing anything was so exhausting that the only reason she could think to stand was to go back to bed. Oscar snored by the back door. She'd have to get up eventually, if only to let him out to do his business. Her distorted reflection glinted in the oven door. The old her, the real her, would never have let it get to this. Maybe she should take the tablets Dr. Morton had prescribed. There was no shame in it. Most people who'd been through what she'd been through would have been knocking them back well before now. Dr. Morton had made that very clear. But Martha took pride in her willpower. She'd had her wisdom teeth out last June without so much as a painkiller. In fact, the last time she took aspirin was 4 years ago, and she only allowed herself that indulgence because it was the morning after her blowout 40th birthday party. Martha didn't take drugs, unless entirely necessary. If her body had something to tell her, she wanted to be able to hear it. But then, this wasn't a toothache or a hangover she was dealing with, to put it mildly. The radio jingle went for the 11 o'clock news. She could have sworn the 10 o'clock bulletin had just ended. She'd hear the headlines, see if anything had happened beyond these walls in the past hour, and then she'd stand up. Hospital bed shortage. No deal Brexit a possibility. Calls for improved sex education. Irish accent voted sexiest in the world. The male Irish accent, she noted. No mention of its female counterpart. Presumably, this was what Sinead meant when she said the patriarchy was always at work. And we're working for it, Mum? She'd insisted the previous evening before Robert told her pubic hair was not suitable dinner table conversation. That just set her off again. Her father's views were a domestic iteration of the institutionalized subjugation of women's bodies. Robert gave up then and went back to his microwaved lasagna. Martha hoped this new school would be as good as the last. Both her girls had loved their old place. Sinead had been chair of the debating team, and she'd just been made editor of the paper, despite only being in 5th year when she was yanked out of her old life and shoved into this one. And with that, Martha's mind was off, rushing down the M7, fleeing their new life, heading back to their old one, but she caught herself just before the Limerick exit. She redirected her attention to the radio. Was that really news, though? About the Irish accent? An international poll conducted by some travel company you'd never heard of, and verified by nobody? Martha thought of all the terrible things that happened in the world, and never made the news. She wouldn't have wanted their ordeal broadcast on national airwaves. The local papers picking up on it was bad enough, though Robert hadn't minded at all. Yet it was amazing how there'd never been a question of it. Nobody had thought such an event worthy of 20 seconds of radio coverage, not when matters as important as orgasmic accents needed the nation's attention. What had been on the news the day it happened? She thought and thought, but she couldn't remember. Perhaps she was doing a better job of blocking it out than she realized. She'd leave the tablets for another while. The bulletin ended, the weather was reported, and Martha continued to stare out the kitchen window into a garden so overgrown the weeds were practically coming in to get her. The old woman who'd lived here before had gone into hospital with pneumonia and never come out. The place had smelled faintly but persistently of fermented cat urine when they arrived. Robert insisted he couldn't smell anything, of course. It had lessened now, or maybe she'd just gotten used to it. Martha hated her new kitchen. She hated the whole house. She knew these red brick homes were highly sought after. But she couldn't stand how old they were. No matter what she might do, and admittedly she hadn't done much yet, everything felt dirty. She hated how the floorboards creaked even when she wasn't standing on them, and how there always seemed to be a draft coming from somewhere. She missed their home. The nice, modern country pile about 12 miles outside Limerick City, with its high energy rating and underfloor heating. She and Robert had it built right after they were married, with the plan of never moving. Number 8 Pine Road had cost almost twice as much as their forever home. It was an obscene amount of money for a place that wasn't half as cosy. But the worst bit, the bit that made her want to twist the tea towel into a ball and stuff it into her mouth to muffle her red-hot rage, was that they could only afford this money pit because...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?